Greetings to all of you. This week we move to another Platonic dialogue, and that is the Euthyphro. And the purpose of this video is to discuss one aspect of the Euthyphro. I will not discuss the entire dialogue. I will primarily discuss what people call the Elenchus. And to go there, let me give us a little bit of background. So far we talked about how Socrates claims that the only thing he knows is that he does not know anything. I am assuming that as long as you believe that I do not know anything, you will not ask questions from me. You will not try to figure out answers about various things. And more than that, you will be quite offended if I will tell you, or if I will show you that you are wrong, because you will say, how can you, Tavi, who believe that you do not know anything, tell us anything about what we know? So that's one of the problems that appears in Platonic dialogue, So you have Socrates on the one hand claiming that he does not know anything. On the other hand, you have the same Socrates talking to these guys and showing them how they do not understand what they are claiming. In the Euthyphro, we have exactly the same problem, exactly this problem. Because we have one guy, Euthyphro, who comes to court to accuse his own father of lack of piety, to accuse his own father of murder. And then at the same court, you have Socrates who defends himself. So we have at the same time, before the court, two people who count for two different reasons. One is the accuser, the other one is the defender, in different cases, but their role is this one, to be an accuser or to be a defender. The moment in which you are an accuser, you assume already that you understand why you accuse the one who is guilty. So you assume some sort of knowledge. And Socrates shows that from the beginning. So, oh, wonderful Euthyphro. If you accuse your own father, then that means you must know what piety is. Please teach me as well so that I can use it in my own trial. And by the end of the dialogue, we perceive a frustrated Euthyphro because all the attempts he has to provide the definition of piety fail short. And that is primarily because of the question Socrates is asking. So, the question for us at the moment is, how can someone like Socrates, who claims that he does not know anything, show other people that they actually have no idea about the things they claim they know? And what he does is by using this method of questioning the various definitions that the other people or his interlocutors, Euthyphro in this case, propose. All of this is based on an understanding of knowledge that is called the justified true belief analysis for knowledge. So what am I claiming whenever I say that I know something? There are three conditions for knowledge. The first one is that I believe that a certain thing is true. So let's say if I claim that the earth revolves around the sun, I have to believe that it is true that the earth revolves around the sun. It's something about my belief. The second one is that the belief should be true. So it's not sufficient that I believe it is true. The belief has also to be true. That's the second condition. And you have all this in your notes. The third condition, which we often forget, is that I need to provide some sort of justification for my belief. So I need to provide an explanation of why things are this way. So if you ask me, Tavi, you say, Tavi, you believe the earth revolves around the sun. How do you know that? I will tell you, well, that's what people say around me, and this is what I got used to believe. But I haven't done any kind of research. If I have an astronomer with me, and that astronomer will be able to explain you why he or she believes whatever they believe about the earth revolving around the sun, that person has knowledge because that person can provide a justification for why things are this way. So let me repeat the three conditions. I have to believe the statement has to be true, and the third one, I have to provide a justification, an accurate justification, of course, not just any kind of excuse, for why the statement is true. If I am Socrates, I cannot attack someone else's belief just because they believe it. I cannot say that his or her belief is true or false because I do not know anything. So the only way in which I can attack someone's claim of knowledge is by attacking the justification. And this is what the Elenchus does. The Elenchus, which means refutation, in the way in which Socrates uses it, starts from a claim that the other person makes, and then it continues from that claim with various logical ideas, and that at the end of all those logical ideas we will have a contradiction or something that is considered to be false by both people involved in the conversation. So if you claim, for example, that it is good to help the poor, and I may believe that you do not defend successfully your claim. What I'm doing, I will say, well, if it's good to help the poor, that means you have this consequence, and then you have to agree with it, and you mean this consequence, and so on. And we go on so far. We go on as far as it is needed to get to a certain contradiction from your first premise. This does not mean that your first claim, I shouldn't have said premise, that your first claim is false. It only means that you have no knowledge of it, even if you claim you have it. So what Socrates does is exactly that. He doesn't say, your first definition of piety is false, my dear Euthyphro, but rather your first definition of piety is inconsistent with all the other beliefs you also have in your soul, but you are not aware of them. You are not aware that those are inconsistent because you have not brought them up at the same time together. What I am doing through asking you questions is showing to you, Socrates would say, that you have at the same time a belief that contradicts another belief. A student of mine told me one time something like that in class when we were talking about that. She said, well, this is like someone who believes that abortion is morally right, but at the same time believes that everything that the Catholic Church says is also correct. And yes, that's really the case, but this is not an Elenchus. The Elenchus would be the questioning that someone would do to this person so that it is revealed that this person has at the same time two beliefs that are in contradiction. The Elenchus, though, and I want to emphasize that, I already said it and I will say it again, does not show that the statement is false. By the end of the dialogue, by the way, we do not know whether any of the definitions proposed by Euthyphro is true or false, or whether those definitions are true or false. What we know is that Euthyphro has no idea what he's talking about. So in the case with abortion in the Catholic Church, I haven't claimed anything about the Church being right or abortion being right or wrong. I said nothing about that. What I said is that the person who holds both those beliefs at the same time has to somehow review his or her opinions about what they believe, because they have to clarify how those opinions are consistent if they truly believe that they are consistent. So I hope it makes sense. Obviously, the dialogue has a lot of other aspects. I wanted to emphasize this idea about the Elenchus because it shows something about theory of knowledge, and we'll move on to theory of knowledge after we finish reading Plato. And it is true. It is based, as I mentioned again, on this understanding of knowledge as justified through belief. So when you read the dialogue, think again about the difference between true belief and knowledge. True belief is not sufficient to have knowledge. In order for having knowledge, what I have to also add to true belief is I have to add some sort of justification. I look forward to seeing your comments. Please let me know if you have any questions.